Struggling to perfect your makeup for hooded eyes? In today's tutorial, I'll show you step-by-step tricks on how to create the illusion of a bigger lid. Let's dive in. Okay, so here is my beautiful model, Lindsay. And as you can see, her eyelid here, it comes down and covers a large chunk of her eyelid. So the space of the eyelid that is showing when she has her eyes open is just that little bit right there. So that is why she has hooded eyes. That's the definition. So either you're born with this eye shape, or it can happen as we get older too, that our eyelid just starts to come down more. So that's just a quick explanation of what we're looking at here. So first of all, like I would do with any eye makeup, I'm going to start with an eye primer. And so with my eye primer, I'm just looking for a nice sheer coverage here. So the first problem that I see is when people put their eyeshadow on, they bring it too far out. And with this eye shape, if you bring your eyeliner or especially your eyeshadow too far out, it's going to start to make the eye look more down, which is the opposite of what we want. We want to keep the eye as lifted as possible. So we're not going to take her eyeshadow any further than about here. That's going to keep the eye nice and lifted and nothing drooping down. So I'm going to start by highlighting the eyelid area. That's the area that we really want to pop out. So I'm going to use Garden Party Quad. So I'm going to use the lightest color to begin with. So I'm just using a small brush for this small area. You don't want to use a brush that's too big because the color is just going to end up everywhere. And I'm highlighting the inner eye and the eyelid area. So that's instantly going to make this area that is a little bit smaller pop when she opens her eye, giving the illusion of a bigger eyelid area. I recommend not putting dark colors here because that will tend to close the eye, and the same with eyeliner, keeping them nice and skinny eyeliner. And opening, beautiful. Like I said before, we don't want that darker color to come any higher than about here. And we don't want to start bringing the eyeshadow super high too, because it just looks wrong. So I'm going to use the lighter color, kind of medium tone here in the same brush. And then I'm just going to draw right into the crease here all the way along. And I'm going to pull the height up in the middle. Whereas if I'm trying to make the eyes look more almond, I'll pull them out to the edges. I want to make sure not to pull this out too far because it will only make her eyes look more droopy, which is not what we want. We want the eyes to look a bit rounder. So just placing my color on first. So again, stopping at about here. I'm coloring in about halfway of the eyelid, so she does get a little bit of color on the lid, but it's a nice light color. And I will blend this with a bigger brush now. And I'm blending it just to soften that line and not to bring it higher. If at any point you do blend too high or too far out, you can erase it with a little bit of concealer. Everything with makeup is fixable other than liquid eyeliner. That you don't want to mess with. Okay, so open up, Lindsay, let's see what that looks like. And so if you feel like you went too far here a little bit, you can just take a little bit of concealer just to pull that back, or a Q-tip just to take it away a little bit right there. Perfect. So again, to explain, we're creating the highest point of the eyeshadow up here, which is going to bring the eye open bigger here. And we're stopping it around here to make sure that the eyeshadow doesn't droop the eye down. We want the eye to keep nice and open. And close for a second, Lindsay. You're also giving this subtle false crease look. Now, Lindsay does have a crease, but if you have mono lids, for example, you can kind of draw in a little bit of a false crease like that. That looks nice and natural. So when it comes to eyeliner with hooded eyes, common problems is if you make the eyeliner too thick, it then consumes the entire eyelid space. The eyelid being that area that I just put that beautiful highlight color to pop out the eyelid and to increase the white space of the eye as well. So it gives the illusion of a bigger eye. So we don't want to go on top of that with a thick eyeliner and make it all black. So number one is super nice and skinny. And another common problem with hooded eyes is transfer. So commonly you'll get transfer onto the upper eyelid because the eye folds in on itself a little bit. You really want to avoid that by using something super waterproof. So either a really nice skinny liquid, or if you're looking for something a little bit more natural, you could use a gel pencil. So one of the biggest questions I get is about winged eyeliners for hooded eyes. So I'm going to choose the liquid eyeliner today. So you always want to make sure to start with the wing first, so with the eye open, so you can see what it looks like. So I'm going to start with the eye open and kind of draw where I need it to go and then close. Then once you've kind of got your wing, you can then see what it needs to look like from the top. So now I can see where the wing should go. I'm going to then go onto the eyelid, drawing like a little bit of a triangle so the two match. And I'm using a brown, which is nice and soft. And then when it comes to coming along the eye line, you want to go as skinny as you can, nice and skinny. So it can be a little thicker on the outside, nice and skinny on the inside. And so again, when the eye is open, you can see how there's a little bit of a funny gap here. I can then kind of go in and figure out with the eye open if I want to fill that in a little bit or not. If you are enjoying this video, please subscribe. Beautiful. So for the most part with hooded eyes, a concern with making your eye smaller, keeping the underneath of the eye brighter and lighter is better. Or if you're going to put something underneath the eye for a little bit of smoky, keeping it really subtle is nice. So I'm just going to use a little bit of that pinky color again on an angle brush. Actually on the outer kind of third of the eye so that it's still keeping that kind of wingy almondy shape. But super, super subtle. Keeping it nice and soft is always going to keep the eyes nice and open. I just need to blend the concealer under the eyes now. And we need to get some mascara on her. Definitely, I highly recommend curling your lashes. The more you can kind of get the most out of the lashes, the better. The more that's going to open up your eyes nice and big. And you can do mascara top and bottom, it's really up to you. Both look great. Some people prefer not to wear mascara on the bottom and keep it really top heavy. It is totally personal preference. Really make sure to use a waterproof mascara and make sure to keep your eyes down for as long as possible to allow the mascara to dry before you open in order to avoid transfer on the eyelid. With this eye shape, that is something that can happen very easily. So Lindsay does tend to get transfer on the eyelid very easily, and she vouches for this mascara. Ilia is wonderful for hooded eyes. There is absolutely no transfer.
Love!
Pretty, pretty. So to recap on this look that is always going to be perfect for hooded eyes, we have got a nice light bright color on the eyelid and the inner eye that is really making the eyelid space as big as possible. Then using a nice light medium taupey, or it could be purpley pinky color on the crease, focusing on the center of the eye and not the outside of the eye, never bringing the eyeshadow out much further than just before the lash line. And then a liquid eyeliner, which is going to be super transfer proof. Very important for this shape of eye. We're doing a nice wing with the eye open to begin with, bigger on the outsides and super skinny around the middle to make sure that that eyelid space is kept nice and bright. The underneath of the eye is nice and bright is also keeping the eye as big as possible.
I love it.
Whether you are a makeup artist professional looking to learn how to perfect your makeup on hooded eyes, or someone who has hooded eyes, I really hope that this tutorial has been useful to you. I've linked all of the products down here for you, and please do remember you can leave me comments and I will happily answer your questions about techniques and products. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please remember to subscribe and see you again.